Hi, today we are discussing about IICS interview preparation tips. So these are very important tips today we are discussing, and these are preparing for an IAS interview may appear overwhelming, but with the proper tactics, you can transform this knowledge into a chance to exhibit your abilities and expertise. Here are some tips to help you prepare. That are first one is understanding the basics. First, we understand the basics and review key concepts and use project related keywords in the discussion. So, practice with real world scenarios, stay updated, and research the interviewer and the company. So prepare for behavioral questions and ask the questions. So we discuss one by one here. So understand the basics. So make sure you have a solid understanding of the basic concepts and the components of IICS. This includes knowing what IICS is. IICS means Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, how it is offered, and where the secure agent is there, and where the cloud hosted agent is there, how we are connecting, we have to uh, keep in this mind, and what is used for and how it works. So where IACS using and how it works, these are the understanding of the basics. And review the concepts that are spend some time reviewing the key concepts such as transformations, mappings, tasks, and task flows. So these are the concepts we are discussed in our full-time course of IICS. You can go through our videos and you can know how the implementation will done. So understand each concept is. So what is mapping? How the mapping will do? What is task? How the task will created? So where the task is created and how the task flow is created and how we are giving the all the task flow components in the task flow. You have to keep in the mind of review the concepts. So here what it's used for and how it works. So this also we see, and use the project related keywords in the discussion. So try to explain more real time project related keywords and terminologies to showcase your expertise to the interviewer. Some keywords are downstream. What is downstream? So we are getting the data and processed and we are sending to downstream. Upstream means where we are getting the data from, staging area, how landing zone. So where the land, what is the landing zone? So what the data we are taking, we have to put in the one place that is called as landing zone. Incremental data. So how we are loading the data? Incremental data means first we load the data, then day by day we have to insert the data into the in our staging area. So there is incremental data and delta data. These are the data concepts we have to keep in mind, and practice with real world scenarios. So try to get hands-on experience with IICS if possible. This will not only help you understand the concepts better, but it will also give you practical examples to discuss during the interview. So wherever the chance is there, you have to expertise in the IACS. Then you do, so then you can understand the better way. So you can apply your real-time scenarios and real-time problems into IACS, and you do the two or more projects. Then in your own, you take your inputs and you take outputs and you expertise in that. Then you get real-time scenario world experience. Then stay updated, so keep up to date the latest features are development in ISCS. So we go to the website and we see what the developments are done in this week and what the things are there, special things there in ISCS. So this will show the interviewer that you have proactive about learning and staying current in your world, in your field. So which version is running now, so we have to that keep in mind, so that us stay updated. And research the interviewer and the company. So whenever we are going for interview, understanding the organization and the interviewer position within may be crucial to success in an interview. So you may feel more assured throughout the interview if you have this knowledge. So examine the company website, most recent press releases, and postings on social media to learn about its objectives and assess how your expertise positions you to meet those objectives. So we see the objectives of the company and how we possess these objects and how we can expertise to achieve these objects we can showcase to them. And also prepare for behavioral questions. In addition to technical questions, you may also be asked behavioral questions during the interview. These questions are designed to assess your problem solving skills, your ability to work in a team, and your approach to handling challenges. Ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions during the interview. If the interviewer asks any questions, you are not understanding about the question, you ask come again, and you can take the time between the question and answers, and you can recollect the answers. That's why if you are not getting any answer, you ask the question again. I'm not understanding the question, please repeat. Like that you tell. Okay, this shows that you are interested in the role and eager to learn more. So you see here, what is Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services? IICS stands for Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, popularly known as Informatica Cloud. It is a next generation IPaaS, means Integration Platform as a Service solution offered by Informatica that allows you to exchange data between any combination of premises and cloud-based applications within individuals or across multiple organizations. Integration Cloud. What is Integration Cloud? A component of Informatica Intelligent Cloud Service is offered as an iPaaS that provides near universal access to application data regardless of its location, format, or origin, and integrates applications and application process regardless of where they are deployed. Integration Cloud provides the means to integrate and deliver so the right data of the highest quality at the right time, data to the right place, and whether on premises or in the cloud, data to the right consumer, whether it is business user or an application, data in the right way, ensuring it is secure and protected. We Informatic Integration Cloud provides the means to integrate the deliver is the right data of the highest quality at the right time, data to the right place, whether on premises or in the cloud, data to the right consumer, whether it is a business user or an application, data in the right way, ensuring it is secure and protected. Integration Cloud provides the ability to move and migrate existing enterprise business application to public and private cloud solutions as well as allowing for continued coexistence with on-premises applications and systems. It supports ongoing coexistence integration needs as business shift to some or all application to cloud solutions over time. So now we are having Informatica Power Center, which is an on-premises server. So we are to move to the cloud. So then the IICS helps to move to cloud here. So in this we have to migrate existing on-premises servers to our cloud services. Integration Cloud, which can be adopted in modular fashion or implemented based on need, helps customers manage data distribution that ensures it is available locally to the application that consumes it, data propagation that moves and processes data feeds as a data sets or events, data services that exposes data as a service, event discovery that gleans events from data sources, event processing that reacts to events as they are discovered or take place. Data and business services that provide, consume, and orchestrate data as it integrate applications and systems in real time using service-based API interaction. So process integration and management that executes within diverse environment and integrates loosely coupled applications and business processes. So what is here we go? What is Informatica Cloud? Informatica Cloud is an ETL integration platform providing a web interface to the web developers to access the administrator and monitor the tasks by using the web interface. It helps the developers build the solutions that perform the ETL processes between the cloud and on-site solution. What is the primary purpose of Informatica Cloud? The primary purpose of the Informatica Cloud is to resolve the data integration problem that takes place when we have to move the data from the legacy architecture to the cloud-based architecture. Though through the Informatica Cloud, we can resolve the issue of handling fragmented data inside and outside the firewall. What is Informatica Power Center? Power Center is data integration platform from Informatica that enables organizations to connect to all their data sources, processes, and cleanse the data and then move it into their target data source. Informatica Power Center is an ETL tool used to extract, transform, and load the data from the sources. We can build enterprise data warehouse with the help of Informatica Power Center. The main components of Informatica Power Center are its client tools, server, and repository. The Power Center and repository server comprise the ETL layer, which completes the ETL processing. The Power Center server executes tasks based on workflow created by workflow managers. So the workflow can be monitored using workflow monitor. Jobs inside the program are designed by a mapping designer, so which creates a mapping between the source and target. So mapping is a pictorial representation of flow of data from source to target. So transformations such as aggregation, filtering, and joining are major examples of transformation. So in this power center, we are having administration, designer, monitor, and task flow. So workflow, which is nothing but workflow here. List the different use cases in Informatica Cloud. There are five different use cases in the Informatica Cloud. They are data integration one, application integration, data quality and data governance, data synchronization, system maintenance task, data replication, and monitoring. What is the difference between Informatica Power Center and Informatica Cloud? So here, Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services is a cloud-based integration platform as a service. IICS helps you to integrate and synchronize all data and applications residing on your on-premises and cloud environments. It provides similar functionality as Power Center in a better way and can be accessed via the internet. Hence, an IICS, there is no need to install any client application on the personal computer or server. All the supported applications can be accessed from the browser and the task can be developed through browser user interface. In Power Center, the client applications need to be installed on your server. The web version of Informatica Power Center is Informatica Cloud, and Informatica Cloud utilizes Informatica Power Center capabilities for providing web applications to all the functionalities. Informatica Cloud has the capability to provide more enhanced data integration capability over the cloud. So, what is runtime environment? A runtime environment is a execution platform that runs a data integration or application integration task. You must have at least one runtime environment set up to run task in your organization. So basically, it is a server upon which your data gets staged while processing. You can choose either to process via the Informatica servers or your local server which stay behind your firewall. There are two types of runtime environments: Informatica Cloud Hosted Agent and Informatica Cloud Secure Agent in the IICS. So, what's the difference between data integration and data migration? So, the data integration is a process of bringing data together from multiple sources and making it available for analysis and reporting. So the data migration is nothing but the process of moving data from one system to another, typically for the purpose of upgrading to new system or consolidate multiple systems is called as data migration. So where does the metadata get stored in Informatica Cloud? Unlike Power Center, all the information in the Informatica Cloud is stored on the server maintained by the Informatica, and the user does not have access to the repository database. Hence, it is not possible to use any SQL query to retrieve the information like in Informatica Power Center. It may not be possible to query metadata tables, but we can make use of the Informatica cloud capabilities to fetch the required information from metadata. So the advantage of IICS is that it provides functionality to export a set of mapping configuration task as a single zip file. The metadata here is stored in the form of JSON format. So, Informatica Cloud provides the public REST APIs for accessing the metadata for their respective organizations. One can use the IICS CDI, means continuous data integration, REST v2 connector, or CAI, application integration, continuous application integration, to connect with those APIs to fetch the information. Here we connect by using CDI REST v2 as well as CAI. We can get the data from the websites. One can also use third-party tools like Postman to connect with those APIs. Where does Informatica Cloud store the metadata required to perform run the task? All the metadata gets stored in the cloud server or repository. Is it possible to avoid storing metadata in cloud repository? No, it is not possible to avoid storing metadata in cloud repository. Explain the main components of Informatica IICS. Informatica IICS consists of several components including cloud data integration, cloud application integration CAI, cloud B2B gateway, and cloud API integration and cloud data quality. These are the main components of Informatica IICS. How does Informatica Cloud perform task when metadata is being stored in the cloud server? So, whenever a task or job is triggered in Informatica Cloud UI, metadata or XML of the task gets downloaded to the secure agent, which is at the machine, and the task runs. After running the task successfully, the downloaded XML resides in the Informatica Cloud Secured Agent installation directory under the apps under the data integration server. In that data folder, in that metadata is there. So whenever we are triggering the Informatica Cloud UI, metadata or XML task gets downloaded in the secure agent of the local machine, and after running a task successfully, the XML is stored in IICS folder under that apps data integration server, data and metadata. Okay, it is stored like that. So next, what advantages do you think Informatica offers over the over other cloud-based ETL solutions like Talent or AWS Redshift data migration? So Informatica offers a few advantages in terms of its cloud-based ETL solutions. First, Informatica has a lot of experience in ETL space, so their solutions are typically very robust and well tested. Second, Informatica offers a lot of flexibility in terms of how you can configure and deploy their solutions, which can be helpful in meeting the specific needs of your organization. Finally, Informatica offers a wide range of support and training resources, which can be helpful in getting up and running with their solutions. Can we execute PowerCenter jobs in the Informatica Cloud? Yes. Here is a PowerCenter task on call in Informatica Cloud. The user needs to load up the XML report transported from PowerCenter in data integration and operate the task as a PowerCenter duty. We can improve a prevailing PowerCenter task to utilize various PowerCenter XML documents. Still, you cannot help make adjustments to an imported XML. So whenever we are downloading from Informatica Power Center, the XML file we have to import into our IICS. We can run that uh, task in the IICS, but we cannot do adjustments. Means if we want to do any modification, we go to the Power Center again and we do there, and we go to and we have to extract the XML from file from there, and we have to import again and we do the execution. So when you post brand new Power Center XML data to an existing Power Center activity, the Power Center project erases the aged XML data and updates the Power Center job definition based on new file information. So, what are the benefits using Informatica IACS over traditional on-premises ETL tools? Some benefits include cost effectiveness, scalability, flexibility, easy collaboration, automated upgrades, and reduced maintenance efforts. So, what's the difference between mapping and a task in Informatica IACS? A mapping defines an ETL logic and transformations, whereas task is a workflow. So whatever the workflow is there in our Informatica Power Center, as like the task will work here in IACS that executes one or more mappings at a time. What are tasks in Informatica Cloud? Tasks mean are the individual components of your workflow that perform a specific function. For example, a task might extract data from a database, transform the data in some way, and then load it into data warehouse. So, which is the task. So now we see what is task flow in IACS. The task flow means is similar to the workflow of the Informatica Power Center. Task flow regulates the execution order of the mapping configuration task or synchronization task according to the previous task output. What is synchronization task? Here, the synchronization task helps you synchronize data between a secure synchronize the data between a source and a target. A synchronization task can be built easily from IICS UI by selecting the source and target without the use of any transformations like mappings. We can also use expressions to transform the data according to your business logic, or use data filters to filter data before writing it to targets, and use lookup data from the other objects and fetch a value. So anyone without Power Center mapping and transformation knowledge can easily build synchronization tasks as UI guides you step by step. So what is replication task? A replication task allows you to replicate data from a database table or on-premises application to desired target. So you can choose the replicate all the source rows of or the rows that have changed since the last runtime of the task using the built-in incremental processing mechanism of the replication task. You can choose from three different types of operations when you replicate the data to target, which is incremental load after initial full load, incremental load after initial partial load, and full load each run. So we are having these are above three for replication task. What is the difference between synchronization task and a replication task? In the synchronization task that must have a target to integrate data. However, replication task can create a target for you. A replication task can replicate an entire schema and all the tables in, in it at a time, which is not possible in synchronization task. A replication task comes with a built-in incremental processing mechanism. In the synchronization task, user needs to handle the incremental data processing. There are three main differences between the synchronization task and the replication task. Synchronization task does in synchronization task we must contain a target to integrate the data. But in the replication task itself creates a target in the target. Okay. It is not possible to replicate the complete schema and the tables in at a time. It is possible to replicate the entire schema and the tables in it. The user needs to manage the incremental data processing in the synchronization task. A replication task arrives with built-in incremental processing mechanism. So, what is the difference between task flow and a linear task flow? A linear task flow executes the duties individually, serially in a sequence specified in the scheme. You have to reboot the entire task flow if a machine defined in the linear task flow falls short. A task flow lets you operate the task in parallel along with enhanced executive capabilities. The task flow and linear task flow. A linear task flow executes the duties individually, serially in a sequence specified in the scheme. You have to reboot the entire task flow if a machine defined in the linear task flow falls short. So a task flow let you operate the task in parallel along with enhanced executive capabilities. So where does the metadata get stored in Informatica Cloud services? All the metadata gets stored in the cloud server repository only. What metadata information gets stored in the Informatica Cloud repository? In that, we have to store source and target metadata, means metadata information of each source and target, including the field names, data types, precision, scale, and other properties. Connection information. This connection information to connect specific source and target systems in an encrypted format. Mappings. All the data integration tasks are built and their dependencies and rules are stored. Schedules. The schedules created when you run the task built in IICS are stored. Logging and monitoring information. The results of all jobs are stored. So here we store source and target metadata, connection information, mappings, schedules, logging, and monitoring information. Can we avoid storing metadata in the cloud repository? No, it is not possible to avoid to store the metadata in cloud repository because Informatica Cloud itself stores the metadata within the cloud repository that is used to run or perform the task. What is map configuration task? Mapping configuration task. A mapping configuration task or mapping task is analogous to a session in Informatica Power Center. You can define parameters that are associated with the mapping. So define pre and post processing commands. Add advanced session properties to boost the performance and configure the task to run and schedule. In what format you can export a task present in Informatica Cloud. So IICS stores metadata information of task in the form of JSON exported from Informatica Cloud. However, you can also download an XML version of the task which can be imported in Power Center, but it will not support bulk export at a time. So here from the Power Center, the bulk export is not allowed. Only a single XML version we have to upload in IICS, whatever we downloaded from Power Center. Whereas you can export multiple tasks in the form of JSON in a single export GIF file. So, how to export these things we are seeing in our Informatica full length course. How many states are available in IICS monitor. So the various states available in IACS that are, you see one by one. First one is queued. There is a predefined number set that controls how many tasks can run together in your IACS organization. If the value set to 2 and if two jobs are already running, the third task you trigger enters into queued state. Starting means once the one of running jobs is completed, the queue task enters as a starting status. As ICS is preparing to trigger the task running, the job enters running status from the starting status. Once the task is triggered completely, success. The task was completed successfully without any issues. Warning: the task was completed with some rejects. Failed. The task failed due to some issue. These are the available status states are in IICS. What is source transformation in IICS? Source transformation extracts data from source. When you add some source transformation to a mapping, you define the source connection, source objects, source properties related to the connection type. For some connection types, you can use multiple source objects within a source transformation, where we can use multiple objects in the file list. So you can use source transformation to read data from following source types. File. The source transformation can read data from single source file or file list. Database. The source transformation can read data from single source table or multiple source tables. Web services. The source transformation can read data from single web service operation. Informatica Cloud data integration connectors. So the source transformation can read data from a single source object or a multiple group source object or multiple source objects based on the connection type. So you can use one or more source transformation in mappings. So if you use two source transformations in mapping, we can use join a transformation to join the data. So if you use multiple source transformation with the same structures, you can use unit transformation to merge the data into a single pipeline. In source transformation, the source properties that appear vary based on the connection type. For example, when you select a Salesforce connection, you can use multiple related sources, objects, and configure the Salesforce API advanced source property. In contrast, when you select a flat file connection, you specify the file type, configure the file formatting options, mainly date date formatting. So, do we have source qualifier transformation in IICS? No. IICS does not have any separate source qualifier transformation. Instead, all source qualifier properties are included in the source transformation. What are the expression macros in Informatica Cloud? A field expression transforms source data before loading into the target. The scope of field expression you define for an output or a variable field is within the field itself. It cannot be extended to other fields. To extend the field expression logic to other fields, you need to define the same logic for each field separately. For example, you need to convert source data into uppercase before loading into the target. To implement this, you need to apply the upper conversion logic for each field separately by using expression macro. It provides a solution to define the field expression logic once extended to all the required field. So we seen this example in the expression macro in our channel, YouTube channel, expression macro video. You can go through that. You can understand about this. Okay, expression macro allows you to create repetitive and complex expressions in mappings. An input macro field expression represents the data of multiple source fields. So an output macro field expression represents the calculation that you want to perform on each input source field. The expression macro can be implemented in three different types, that is vertical macro, horizontal macro, and hybrid macro. We see one by one. So we are did this with these three examples. We did one practical session also. You can go to the that practical session. You can understood better. Before that, please subscribe and like. Thank you. So we discuss again. A vertical macro expands an expression vertically. So it expands it vertically. So that implies a vertical macro generates a set of the same expression condition on multiple incoming fields. So whatever the fields we are getting from multiple incoming fields, that it will that the expression will be applicable to all the fields. Here horizontal macro expression produces one results. So the transformation output field passes the results to the rest of the mapping. You configure the horizontal macro expression in the transformation output field. So hybrid macro means it is a combination of both horizontal and vertical. So, how to perform incremental data loading in Informatica Cloud? So, incremental data loading is a process of loading the selective data which is either updated or created new from the source system to the target system. This is different from full data load. So, where entire data is processed each load. Benefits of incremental data loading. What are the benefits we are having? Working on selective data from the source system reduces the overhead on the ETL process, thereby reducing the overall runtime. Any ETL load process is prone to errors or failing because of multiple reasons. As only selective data is processed, the probability of risk involved is reduced. The historical accuracy of the data is preserved. There, it is easy to track the data processed over particular period. So, implementation of incremental data loading in IICS. So, there are multiple ways to implementing incremental data loading in Informatica Cloud, and each method has its own advantages using IICS system variables. IICS system input and output parameters by using IICS input parameters. By using three concepts, we can store the incremental data. Sorry. What do you know about the Informatica Cloud Secure Agent? So, the Informatica Cloud is a lightweighted program that installed and configured on top of a server. This helps in establishing connectivity between on-premises and cloud and supports data exchange between these two. So the secure agent provides a secure environment to process data locally. The Informatica Cloud eliminates manual interaction by automatically updating and restarting the secure agent software. This helps organizations to focus on developing applications without worrying about administration. The secure agent majorly executes the following services on the server: data integration service, process integration service, executes batch commands, and shell scripts in command flow. How to start secure agent in the Informatica Cloud? So we can do it in 5 simple steps that are mentioned below. So open the service panel by navigating to your start menu. So you can find the start menu bottom left of your computer screen. So click on the control panel option, open administrative tools, and open services menu. Once you open the services menu, right click on to start and stop, restart the services. List any three different types of transformations in Cloud Designer. So, three different transformations in the Cloud Designer are: expression transformation. The row level calculations are done by using transformation. Filter transformation. Filter transformation can be filter out the data it in the flow itself. Joiner transformation. As the name suggests, the join can be created by using the joiner transformation. What is mapping in Informatica Cloud? Mapping is nothing but group of objects that are linked together by group of transformations. These transformations can contain protocols that define data flow and how the data is loaded within the targets. So, next, list the basic components of mapping. So, the basic components of mapping are source tables, mapping transformations, target objects, and fourth one is mapping variables and parameters. These are the basic components of mapping. So without source and target we cannot do mapping transformation, and if we go for further we go for the mapping variables and parameters. So what is a file listing in IICS? So this is similar to the concept of indirect file loading in Informatica Power Center. Indirect file loading is a process where various sources files have identical properties and same structure sequentially in mapping. Choose file list under the source type property in a source transformation to perform indirect file loading. Tell me any three different methods to implement file listing in the Informatica Cloud. So the three methods to implement indirect file loading in the Informatica Cloud are: we can use command as the source type within the source transformation, and we can use the file list as a source type within the source transformation, and we can use the data integration quick start bundle. Okay, how do you read JSON source files in IICS? So JSON documents, no. So utilizing the hierarchy parser change the current in IICS. The user requirements to determine hierarchical schema, so that describes the counted on the hierarchy of the outcome information to check the out JSON document throughout the hierarchy parser. The hierarchy parser transformation may likewise be utilized to read the XML documents in the Informatica Cloud data integration. What is hierarchical schema? So hierarchical schema is an element, so where the user may upload XML, JSON, example data that describes the pecking order of outcome data. So the hierarchy parser improvement change input based upon the hierarchy schema linked with the change. So, what are the field name conflicts in IICS and how can we resolve them? So, the cloud mapping designer produces field name conflicts mistake when same label stems from different changes right into downstream change. Moreover, we can solve the dispute by renaming the fields in the difficult improvement itself, or generating a field guidelines in the downstream change to massively rename industries by incorporating a prefix or suffix to the every inbound area. So, what is intelligent structure model (ISM)? So, a Clary intelligent structure model is an asset that intelligent structure discovery creates based on input that represents the data that you expect the model to parse at runtime. So, intelligent structure discovery determines the underlying patterns and structures of the input that you provide for the model and creates a model that can be used to transform, parse, and generate output groups. Intelligent structure discovery creates a model that express and expected output data. We can use an intelligent structure model in mappings to parse unstructured, semi-structured, or structured data. We can create models from the following input types that are text files, including delimited files such as CSV files and complex files that contain textual hierarchies. So machine generated files such as weblogs and clickstumps, JSON files, XML files, ORC files, AVRO files, Parquet files, Microsoft Excel files, data within PDF form, fields, data within Microsoft Word, tables, XSD files, COBOL copybooks. What is structured parser transformation in IICS? So the structured parser transformation transforms your input data into user-defined structured format based on intelligent structure model ISM. So you can use the structured parser transformation to analyze data such as log files, clickstumps, XML or JSON files, word tables, and other unstructured or semi-structured formats. To create an intelligent structure model, you use intelligent structure discovery. Intelligent structure discovery determines the underlying structure of a sample data file and creates a model of the structure. Intelligent structure discovery creates the intelligent structure model based on sample of your input data. So you can create models from the following input types: text files including delimited files such as CSV files, complex files that contain textual hierarchies. Whatever it is discussed is same here. Can you explain the various services available in Secure Agent? So we are having data integration server, mass ingestion service overview, common integration components, monitoring the OI data collector services. So the integration server is the secure agent service that runs the data integration jobs such as mapping, task, and task flow instances. Ingestion service overview. The mass ingestion service is an application service, which is an application service in the Informatica domain that manages and validates mass ingestion specifications that you create in mass ingestion tool. Common integration components. The common integration component service is the secure agent service that runs the commands specified in a command task step of a task flow. Monitoring the OI data collector service. The OI data collector service runs the data collectors that collect the operational data and domain related metadata used by operational insights. The secure agent uploads the collected operational data and domain related metadata to Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. Process server. Process server process is the secure agent service that executes application integration as well as processes, connectors, and connections. What is elastic mapping in IICS? Elastic mapping is a feature of Informatica Intelligent Cloud Service that enables dynamic and scalable data integration. It allows mappings to automatically adapt to changing data quantities and processing demands by the modifying computing resources. With elastic mapping, computational resources may be scaled up or down depending on workload allowing for effective performance and cost optimization. It employs parallel processing and automates the resource management to distribute data integration duties across numerous nodes or instances. Utilizing parallel processing and automating resources management, this functionality connects smoothly with existing IICS functions, boosting data integration processes, scalability, performance, and cost effectiveness. How to migrate the Informatica Power Center to IICS? So, this is very important. Multiple phases are involved in the conversation from Informatica Power Center to Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. First, assess and plan the migration by determining the required components, mappings, workflows, and depends. Determine the migration projects, objectives, scope, and timeline. Convert Power Center mapping to IACS format, replicate workflows, and configure connections to assess interoperability. To ensure a successful migration, the migrated mapping, processes, and connections must be tested and validated. Adjust and optimize the migrated processes and mappings to maximize the cloud native applicabilities of IACS. Execute the migration by shifting the workload from a Power Center to IACS, monitoring the processes, and conducting validation following the migration. After successful migration, decommission the Power Center environment and associated resources. What are the different connection managers available in Informatica Cloud? The different connection managers available in the Informatica Cloud are FTP connection manager, which is a file transfer protocol. The connection manager can be used to connect to an FTP server in order to transfer files. HTTP connect manager. This connection manager used to HTTP server in order to retrieve and submit the data. JMS connection manager. So which manager used to connect a JMS server in order to send or receive messages. MQ connection manager. This connection manager can be used to connect an MQ server in order to send or receive messages. ODBC connection manager. This connection manager used to connect a ODBC data source in order to retrieve the or submit the data. Oracle connection manager. This connection manager used to Oracle database, connect the Oracle database and retrieve and submit the data. SQL Server connection manager. This connection manager used to connect the SQL Server database and in order to retrieve data and submit. Explain the hierarchy of schema in IICS. Hierarchy of schema is an element where we can upload JSON or XML files that specifies the hierarchy of the output data. Hierarchy parser transform the transform hierarchy parser transformation transforms the input according to the hierarchical schema that is related to the transformation. Explain dynamic linking. So Informatica Cloud enables us to establish target file at runtime. So we can use this feature only in the mapping. So in the target, we can select create runtime option, create new at runtime option. So we can choose a static file name that can be displaced with a new file whenever the mapping operates with the same name. So we can also create dynamic file names such as whenever the mapping runs, we can create a file with new name. So explain Informatica Cloud REST API. So Informatica Cloud REST API provides with the capability of access information through Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. Developers also perform tasks like creating, updating, delete connections, starting and monitoring the jobs, etc. How do we read JSON source files in IICS? Through hierarchy parser transformation, IICS we read JSON files. So we have to specify the hierarchy of output data. Hierarchy parser transformation transform the input according to the hierarchical schema that is related to the transformation. List some essential resources provided by the Informatica Cloud REST API. So some of the broadly used resources are activity monitor available, job details are returned, connection, connection variable returns the data integration connections, activity log, this available returns activity log job details, schedule, schedule variable returns schedule details. It helps us in updating or creating the schedule. Job means task is started or stopped. What are the parameter types available in Informatica Cloud? IICS supports two types of parameters, that is input parameter, similar to a parameter in PowerCenter. The parameter value remains constant as a value defined in MCT or a parameter file. In-out parameter. Another one is in-out parameter, which is similar to a variable in PowerCenter. The in-out parameter can be constant or change value within a single task run. So here another one, to perform incremental loading, what system variable are available in IACS? IACS supplies accessibility to the observing the system variables, which may be utilized as information filter variables to filter the recently put or upgraded reports. Dollar last run time gain the final opportunity when the activity operated successfully. The dollar last run date gains merely the later day on which job ran effectively. The values of dollar last run date and dollar last runtime are kept in the Informatica Cloud repository server. It is not feasible to supersede the relevance of these criteria. Differentiate between connected and unconnected sequence generator transformation in Informatica Cloud data integration. Sequence generator can easily be used in two diverse techniques in Informatica Cloud. One with incoming fields disabled as well as the various others with inbound lots of not incapacitated. The disparity between the pattern power generator with incoming industry enabled as well as impaired is when the next val field is mapping to various makeovers. Sequence generator and incoming domain names certainly not disabled will create the same pattern of numbers for each downstream conversion. Sequence generator and incoming components disabled will undoubtedly create an inimitable sequence of amounts for each downstream change. Explain partitioning in Informatica Cloud data integration. Dividing is only making it possible for the similarity dispensation of the Informatica through different pipelines. Along with the separation permitted, you may select the number of partitions for the mapping. The DTM method then creates an audience thread, transformation thread, and writer string for every section, refining the records simultaneously and lowering the job's completion time. Partitions cloud be Partitions could be made possible by setting up the source improvement in the applying designer. There are two primary dividing strategies supported in the Informatica Cloud integration are pass-through partitioning. The mapping task process data without distributing rows among partitions. All rows in a single partition stay in the partition. So choose pass-through partitioning when you want to create additional partition to improve performance but do not want to change the distribution of data across partitions. You can use this method for source such as Amazon S3, Netezza, and Teradata. Key range partitioning distributes data into numerous divides based upon the separating essential decided and the stability of the values described for it. You need to opt for ground as a separating key and explain the market value start and end ranges. Fixed partitioning could be allowed for the resources that are certainly not relational or even help vital assortment dividing. It would help if you choose a lot of dividers through passing a worth. How to pass the data from one mapping to another in Informatica Cloud data integration. The records can quickly be approved from mapping task to an additional one in Informatica Cloud data integration during task flow with parameters. The mapping task, which provides the data, are to process in the in-out parameter defined utilizing set of variable functions. The mapping task that obtains the information are to either include an input guideline or an input parameter specified in the mapping to review the data considered from the upstream job. What does data masking means? Another popular technique to conceal the data by substituting accurate test data for sensitive column data. Informatica Cloud primary duty is to assist in the creation of a rule to hide sensitive data. What is user defined functions? Means UDFs. A user defined function is a reusable function that you can use in expression. You can create an user defined function to build a complex expression using Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services transformation language. User defined functions use the same syntax and can use the same transformation language components as transformation and field expression. What is the difference between deployment group and a task flow in IICS? Deployment group is a set of related objects, means mapping, task, or connections that can be moved together between environments. A task flow is a sequence of tasks within the within a task that allows you to define conditional execution paths. Name the transformations that are present in PowerCenter but not in the cloud. That are source qualifier, updated strategy, and stored procedure transformation. Source qualified transformation is not there. Updated strategy transformation also not there in cloud, and stored procedure transformation is not there. Only SQL transformation is there. How does IICS ensures data security? IICS ensures data security through various measures such as data encryption. All the data transist and rest is encrypted. Access control. IICS uses role-based access control, which is RBAC, to ensure that only authorized individuals can access the data. Audit trials. IICS maintained detailed log of all activities for audit purposes. Example, if a company is using IICS for a data integration, the data being transferred from one system to another will be encrypted. This means that even if a hacker intercepts the data, they won't be able to read it due to the encryption. Very good. What is the role of data integration services in IICS? The data integration service in IICS is responsible for executing tasks. It reads the data from source and applies the transformation and writes the data, transformed data to targets. The services can execute multiple tasks concurrently and it can scale to handle large volumes of data. CDI, which is nothing but CDI. What is secure agent in IICS? The secure agent is a lightweight thing, is a self-updated program that you install in a machine in your network. It runs tasks and allows IICS to interact with your local cloud resources securely. The secure agent communicates with IICS over HTTPS, ensuring that all data is encrypted. Example, if a company wants to IICS integrate data from on-premises database with a cloud-based application, they would need to install secure agent on machine that can access on the premises database. The secure agent would then facilitate the secure transfer of data between the database and IICS. How can we handle large data volumes in IICS? So IICS handles large data volumes through combination of techniques which are partitioning. IICS can divide data into smaller, more manageable chunks or partitions and process each partition separately. So we do have pushdown optimization. IICS can push the processing of data down to the database level and reducing the amount of data that needs to be transferred. High speed connectors. IICS offers high speed connectors for various data sources, enabling faster data transfer. What is the flow run order in Informatica Cloud? when there is when there are individual data flows in a mapping, the order in which the data integration process, the flows can be configured in Informatica Cloud data integration using flow run order. This is analogous to the target load plan in the Informatica Power Center. So a flow is a collection of all connected sources, transformations, and targets in a mapping. You can have multiple flows in a mapping. Specify the flow run order when you want to data integration to load the targets in different flows in the mapping in a particular order. Okay, which transformation execute fast? We have to go with the flow run order, which is analogous to our target load plan in our Informatica. So, what are the pre-processing and post-processing commands in IICS? The pre-processing and post-processing commands are available in the schedule tab of task to perform additional jobs using SQL commands or operating system commands, means the batch commands or Unix commands. The task runs processing pre-processing commands before it reads the source. It runs post-processing commands after it writes the target. The task fails if any command in the pre-processing or post-processing scripts fails. What is pushdown optimization in IICS? A pushdown optimization is IICS is a feature that allows you to push the processing of transformation logic down to the database level. This can improve performance by reducing the amount of data that needs to be transferred between the database and IICS. Example, if a company is using IICS to process a large amount of data stored in a database, so they could use pushdown optimization to speed up their process. So the transformation logic would be executed in the database, reducing the amount of data that needs to be transferred to IICS. So we have to write a SQL query rather than full total transformation in the pushdown optimization, either source wise or target side or in the transformation level. What is a maplet in IICS? A maplet in IICS is a reusable object that you can create in developer tool. It contains a set of transformations and lets you reuse the transformation logic in multiple mappings. Example, if a company has common set of transformations that used to clean and validate customer data, they could create maplet containing this info transformation. This maplet can then be used in any mapping that needs to be clean and validate customer data, ensuring the consistency and reducing the duplication. What are the field name conflicts in IICS and how can they be resolved? So when there are fields with the same name coming from different transformation into a downstream transformation like joiner transformation, so the cloud mapping designer generates the field name conflict error. You can either resolve the conflict by renaming the fields in the upstream transformation only. So, or you can create a field rule in downstream transformation to bulk rename field by adding a prefix or suffix to all incoming fields. What is a task flow in IICS? A task flow in IICS is a sequence of tasks that you can run in a single unit. Task flows allows you to orchestrate complex workflows that involve multiple tasks. You can define dependencies between tasks, ensuring that they are executed in the correct order. Example, suppose a company has three tasks. So one that extracts the data from database, and one that transform the data, and one that loads the data into cloud application. They could create a task flow that run these three tasks in a sequence. How to pass data from one mapping to other in Informatica Cloud data integration. The data can be passed from one mapping to task to another Informatica Cloud data integration through the task flow using parameters. The mapping task, which passes the data, should have an in-out parameter defining using set variable op function. The mapping task, which receives the data, should either have an input parameter or in-out parameter defined in the mapping to read the data passed from upstream task. What are secure agent groups? By default, after you install and register an Informatica Cloud Secure Agent, a secure agent group is created and installed in secure agent is added under that group. So all the secure agent groups created in the organization can be viewed from runtime and environment page of administrative services. So you can either create a new secure agent group and add multiple secure agents under it, or add new secure agents in the existing secure agent group. Do we have debugger in IICS? Informatica Cloud Debugger lets you preview data at any point in the mapping, even as you build it, which helps in troubleshooting the errors in data integration mappings. The only requirement is that the mapping should be valid up to the selected transformation. Consider a scenario where you have built a mapping but the output of the mapping is not as expected. It could be because of the data is getting transformed midway in the mapping in an unexpected way. Instead of adding temporary target to view how the data transform at any particular transformation in mapping, Informatica Debugger could be used. What is a web services consumer transformation in IICS? A web services consumer transformation IICS is a transformation that can call a web service. A transformation sends a request to the web service, receives a response from the web service, and makes the response data available for further processing. Example, suppose a company wants to use IICS to integrate the data from the web service. They could use web service consumer transformation to call the web service and process the response data. What is lookup transformation in IICS? A lookup transformation in IICS is a transformation that can look up data in a source and it to the output data. The transformation matches records based on set of lookup conditions. If a company want to use this IICS enriched sales data with the customer details, they could use a lookup transformation. The transformation would look up the customer details in a customer database based on customer ID in the sales data. What is joiner transformation? A joiner transformation in ICS is a transformation that can join the data from two sources based on a set join condition. The transformation matches records from the two sources and combines them into a single record. Suppose your company wants to use ISC's combine sales data from the sales database with customer details from the customer database. They could use a joiner transformation to join the sales data and customer details based upon the customer ID. What is a filter transformation in ICS? A filter transformation is the ICS is a transformation that can filter the data based upon the set of filter conditions. Whatever the condition we are giving, depending on the condition, we will execute the flow. The transformation passes through only the records that meet the filter condition. Example, if a company wants to use ICS process sales data, but they only want to include sales from the last quarter, they could use a filter transformation. The transformation would filter out any sales that occurred before and start the last quarter. What is an aggregator transformation in IICS? An aggregator transformation in IICS is a transformation that can be aggregate the data. The transformation groups data based on a set of group by fields. It calculates aggregate values for each group. Suppose a company wants to use IICS calculates total sales of each region, they could use aggregate transformation to group the sales data by the region field and calculate the sum of sales field for each group. What is sorter transformation? A sorter transformation transforms the source data based on the set of sort conditions. So if we want to data sorted by the sales field in descending order, they could use sorter transformation. The transformation would sort the sales data, ensuring the highest sales amounts appear first. What is router transformation? A router transformation can route the data into a different target based on a set of routing conditions. The transformation evaluates the routing condition for each record and sends the record to appropriate target. So suppose a company wants ISCS to process sales data, they want to send the high value sales to one target and low value sales to another target. They could use a router transformation to route the sales data based on the sales field. What is union transformation? A union transformation is a combined data from multiple sources into a single output. The transformation appends The union transformation appends the records from each source to the output. If a company wants to use union transformation from multiple regions, they could use union transformation. The transformation would append the sales data. It's appends. Union means append the data. Joiner means append the fields. Lookup means append the fields. You have to keep in mind these things. What is a normalized transformation IICS? A normalized transformation in IICS is transformation that can normalize data. Normalizing data involves converting a single record with multiple occurrences of a group of fields into multiple records with single occurrences of the group fields. We see GC marks, GK marks, there are examples are there. Please go through that all the examples. I have given 7 hours video. You are having everything about these all interview questions. Please look at that video and read this content. Easily you will get IICS. What is rank transformation in IICS? A rank transformation in IICS is a transformation that can rank data. The transformation sorts data based on the set of rank conditions and it selects the top or bottom in records. Example, if a company wants to top 10 customers by sales, they could use rank transformation. The rank transformation would sort the customers by the sales field in descending order and select the top 10 records. What is expression transformation in IICS? Expression transformation in IICS that can calculate the values. The transformation uses express the calculate values based on the input data. So I want to calculate here total price of each sale, where the total price is a product of the quantity field and price field. So they could use an expression transformation to calculate total price in the field. What is the sequence generated transformation? It generates a sequence of numbers. The transformation generates a new number for each input record, and the numbers are incremented by specified value. If you are giving increment by one, it will increment by one. If you are giving two, it will increment by two. So, unique in the company, we want to create unique ID to each sale. They could use a sequence generator transformation. The transformation would generate unique ID for each sale, ensuring that each sale can be identified uniquely. Stored procedure transformation. A stored procedure transformation, IICS transformation, that can be called stored procedure in a database. So the transformation sends a request to the database and to execute the stored procedure, and it can capture the result of the stored procedure. Suppose a company stored procedure in a database calculates the total sales in each region. So they could use a stored procedure transformation ICS to call the stored procedure and capture the results. Transaction control transformation. A transaction control transformation can control the transaction in boundaries. The transformation can commit or rollback transformations based on the input data. So here, company wants to use IACS load sales data into database, and they want to commit the transactions after each batch of 100 sales. Whenever 100 sales it comes, you have to commit. They could use a transaction control transformation for this, and the transformation would be commit the transaction after the 100 sales, ensuring that the data is saved in the database. Okay, after every 100 sales, we can go for the transaction control. What is update strategy transformation IICS? An update strategy transformation IICS transformation that can control how the data is updated in a target. So here having the transformation can specify whether the each record should be inserted or updated or deleted or rejected. For example, ICS update the sales data in database. They could use update strategy transformation to specify whether the sale should be inserted in a new cell or updated in an existing cell or deleted in the existing cell. We see what are the different lookup catches. Lookup can be catched, uncatched, no catch. Catch lookup can be either static or dynamic. A static catch is one that does not modify the catch once it is built, and it remains the same during the session run. On the other hand, dynamic catch is refreshed during the session run. By inserting or updating the records in a cache based on the incoming source data. Okay, a lookup cache can also be divided as a persistent or non-persistent based on whether Informatica retains the cache even after session run is complete or not respectively. So why is sorter an active transformation? When the sorter transformation configured to treat the output rows as distinct, it assigns all ports as a part of the sort key. The integration service discards the duplicate rows compared during the sort operation. The number of input rows will vary from the output rows. That's why it is active transformation. How to improve the performance of aggregated transformation in ICS? Aggregator performance improves dramatically if records are sorted before the passing to the aggregator, and we enable the sorted input option in the aggregator properties. The record set should be sorted on those columns that are used by group by operation. It is often good idea to sort the record set in a database level only. Example, inside source qualifier transformation, unless there is a chance that already sorted records from source qualifier can again become unsorted before reaching the aggregator. What is maplet in ICS? A maplet is a reusable object that represents set of transformations. It allows you to reuse the transformation logic and can contain as many transformations as you need. You create maplets in Maplet Designer. It's different than a reusable transformation, as it may contain a set of transformations, while a reusable transformation is single one. What is fact and dimension table? A fact table means it contains all the primary keys of the dimension and associated facts or measures like quantity sold, amount sold, and average sales. Commonly used fact tables are transaction fact, sales fact, and purchase item fact. So the biggest fact table is always the transaction fact table. Dimension tables. Dimension tables provide descriptive information for all measurements recorded in the fact table. Dimensions are relatively very small as comparison to the fact table. Commonly used dimensions are customer, product, location, account, user, time. What is SQL override in a source transformation? The source qualifier provides an SQL options to override the default query. You can enter any SQL statement supported by your source database. You might enter your own select statement. Have the database perform aggregate calculations or call stored procedure or stored functions to read the data from to read the data and perform some task. What is master outer join? A master outer join is a specific join represent typesetting within a joiner transformation. In a master outer join, all records on the detailed source are returned by the join and only matching rows from the master source are returned. What is surrogate key? A surrogate key is a sequentially generated unique number attached with the each record in a dimension table. It is a substitution of the natural primary key. A surrogate key is any column or set of column attached to every record in a dimension table in a data warehouse. It is used to substitute or replacement for the primary key when the update process becomes difficult for future requirement. How to delete duplicate rows from a flat files? We can use sorter transformation to delete duplicate rows from the flat file and select the distinct option. Do we have reusable transformations in IICS? No, we do not have any reusable transformations in IICS. Instead, we can use Maplet with a single transformation. How can we create worklets in IICS? We do not have worklet in IICS. Instead, we can call a sub task flow inside a task flow, which is about all the interview questions of IICS. Please subscribe and like. Thank you. Thank you very much.